these two. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thank you all for being here today. I just found out that my lovely guest with me today lives not too far from me, so that's pretty cool. Michelle from Astrological Tarot. Welcome to the show, and thank you for being here, and thank you for reminding me we were supposed to be here today.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be on your channel. I love being in the chat. So
Yeah, no, you're a wonderful chatter along with the rest of the crew. So we're always happy to have you. And I know you also follow Marina and I believe Val as well. So we're all part of the same family, so to speak. So thank you for being
Mhm.
here. And I know you have your own channel. We're going to talk a little bit about what it is that you do or started to do, and then we'll do some readings as we go along. So hi everybody. Hi Christine. Hi Karen. And Viviani's here. And Mims just signed up to be a member. Thank you, Mims. I don't think you're here, but thank you for doing that. We appreciate that you do. Yeah. So, all right. So let's do a little chit chat about. Uh, First of all, were you all? When did you start getting interested in astrology or cards, or was there a sort of a progress thing going, or how long has it been?
There was.
Okay.
I was in the Girl Scouts when I was little, and we moved around a
Uh-huh.
lot because we were a military family. And so it was on one Girl Scout trip. I was 9 years old, and we were getting I think it was something like a stargazer's badge. And we
Hmm.
had to identify different constellations in the sky and learn how to use the
Ooh.
equipments. And
Uh-huh.
so we're doing this, and I loved it. Like,
I
just
bet.
loved
Yeah.
it. Like, I just looked up
Uh-huh.
at the sky and like something clicked. It was like something came on inside of me that just went,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. And
Uh-huh.
so I'm doing this. I'm having a lot of fun, and a really good friend of mine who was also in the Girl Scouts, and she lived across the street from me on the military base. She goes, "Oh, you see that? That's Delphi, like Delphius or Delphi." And I'm like, "What's that?" And she goes, "It's part of the constellation. It's called the Dolphin, and it belongs to Aquarius." And I'm like, "What's Aquarius?" And she's like, and she's like, "It's the name of the constellation." I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "And amethyst is my stone." I'm like, "What's an amethyst? What the heck?" And so this was like, it's like, whoa. And so
Speaking a different language. Yeah. Yeah.
there you go.
Uh-huh.
And so this was
Uh-huh.
back in the times where we had to go to a library and get a little card and write everything down. And so
Yeah.
I
Good.
went to the library and I started looking up astrology books and books on crystals and books on constellations and how they related to our personalities. And then that was my way of connecting to kids every time we moved, is I would try to guess their sign. So it's kind of like an icebreaker for me because I was kind of this
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
awkward kid that was up in her head. And so it was a way for me to connect and ask personal
That's
questions
cool.
without coming across as weird.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
was one of those kids that had her nose in a book, and
Uh-huh.
the
My kids
braces
were
and
like
the
that too.
acne and yeah. So I was a little bit of a nerd. And so it was kind
That's
of my
good.
way of connecting with people without feeling
Yeah.
insecure.
Well,
So
it sure beats going into a bar and saying, "What's your sign?" Which is
I
what
did
people
that
used to say.
too. I've done
Oh, you
that too.
did?
I've actually done astrology reports for bartenders. I did it during my divorce. I'm not kidding you.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah, no, I
Wow.
wasn't picking up people in bars, but
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
but I was there for trivia night. But anyways, that's a long story.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
There was a thing that I did with a bunch of teachers, but um
Uh-huh.
anyway, so then I got to college, and by then I was pretty good. So, because I've been
Mhm.
doing it for almost a decade, and so I was pretty good at that point. And when I went to join uh, the Greek system, I was, interviewing the different sororities, and there was one that I
Yeah.
really liked because it was super academic. And I was talking to all of the girls and guessing their signs. And one of the gals said, "You should definitely meet a friend of mine. She has a metaphysical clinic down in the Tacoma area. It's on 6th Ave and it's doing really well. And I think you'd really jive with her." And it's like, sweet. So I go down there and I meet her, and she's like, "You want to start doing charts?" And I'm like, "You're going to pay me to do this? Like, for
Yeah.
real? You're going to pay me?
Really?
Like, I
Yeah.
do this for fun." And she's like, "No, people pay for this." And I'm just going,
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And so
Uh-huh.
I was making $20 a chart, which was crazy money back then because
At
my
that
rent was
time. Sure.
$400 and that included utilities. Okay. So
Right. Right.
$20 was like magic money. And
Sure.
so, and it beat, I was also nannying and painting houses and nursing and doing everything I could to get cash. And so I'm thinking, I get to do something I like doing and people pay me for it. This is fantastic. And so I did that.
Uh-huh.
Long story short, I gave up astrology and tarot for a few years because I married into an evangelical family that did not understand. Yeah, it was bad. I
Yeah.
got out of
Yeah.
that.
Uh-huh. Oh,
I'm out of
dear.
that. I'm with a
Uh-huh.
much
Yeah.
better version of someone that works for me,
Right.
and I got back into it and I love it. And I got into Vedic a few years ago. I started studying under fabulous woman. Her name is Kamala Sutton, and
Mhm.
she is an internationally known astrologer. She's Vedic. She's from
Oh,
India, but she's studied and taught in the UK, and she lives in the United States as well. So she's just a storehouse of knowledge. And so
sure.
I did about 4 years of school with her, and after
Mhm.
4 years of intense study, I got my certifications, and I still study with her and keep in touch with her and things like that. But since then, I've written a book that I'm pitching to Llewellyn, and I've got a deck that I'm working on and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm coming on the up and up as a creator now.
Oh
But
my
it all started with
goodness.
that 9-year-old girl looking into that
Looking
telescope
at the
and just,
stars.
yeah.
Yeah. And if I
So,
remember correctly, and I think I do, I remember my handbook had that badge in it, of course. And is it
mm.
blue with a star on it?
I
Is it
have
just
it in
that the color?
storage. I should probably find
Okay.
it. Yeah, I'll
Well,
have
the
to look
reason
for
is,
it.
it was always one I wanted to have, but there was no, you know how you have to find people that will do things that they do in order to teach a
Yeah.
younger person, but I remember that badge because it was a gorgeous looking badge,
Mhm.
and I spent a number of years in the Girl Scouts. Actually was a brownie up to a I didn't go in to be a senior, but I was like 2nd year cadet or something like
Oh,
that, so that
okay.
was a long time ago, but yeah,
Yeah.
but I really, really thought it was fascinating because you got to try on things that and earn badges and learn new things and stuff, so yeah, that's
Yeah.
really cute. I love that. I love that.
Thanks.
So did you start with regular astrology and then move into Vedic, or you've always done Vedic?
I moved into I taught and I did Western charts for years, and then I
Okay.
got into Vedic. So,
Okay.
and it was because I had something come up in my chart in gosh, when was it? It was like 2016, 20 that was 2017 that I couldn't explain Western wise. And I
Okay.
found out by watching YouTube videos, and I found Camilla Sutton, and she was covering this particular transit that
Okay.
was going on Vedically, and I went,
Yeah.
"That's what's going on." And so it was like a little piece that I saw that was missing that I clicked into place with her, and
Okay.
that's when I started taking classes. So,
Looking into that. So
mhm.
is there a huge difference between the 2? I mean, I don't know. So I'm being really curious now. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. I did
Yeah.
a video on my channel. It's the differences
Okay.
between Vedic and Western astrology. The
Good.
biggest difference is the calculation. So
Oh,
Ptolemy, about 2,000 years ago, he used what's called the fixed star constellation system to determine the calendar and the seasons. And
okay.
so if you look at 2,000 years ago, it's almost the exact alignment as what Vedic is now, okay? Because Vedic is the
Right.
math in the sky right now, whereas
Okay.
Western is based on the equinoxes
Right.
and the solstices. And so what
Mhm.
Ptolemy did was he said, okay, so on this date, this is the day that the sun enters Aries, and on this date is the day that's the sun enters Pisces, which is the end of the cycle. So you go from Aries to Pisces
Mhm.
here,
Mhm.
here.
Mhm.
Uh, so
Yeah.
he put those fixed things in, but then every 72 years, the Earth's axis,
Mhm.
the precession, it moves a degree.
Okay.
And so we're up
Okay.
to about 24 degrees now. And so the difference in the math is about 24 degrees. But
Okay.
that said, most people are like, oh my gosh, when I used to go to conferences and stuff and I was teaching Western, they're like, you're such a Leo. You're such a Leo. In Vedic, I'm a Cancer. But if you look in my Vedic chart, there's something called the Aruda Lagna. The Aruda Lagna is how other people see you. Because in Vedic sciences, we believe
Oh,
that this is a
okay.
play. This is the play of the divine, and we all get to
Mhm.
play actors and actresses in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And so the Aruda Lagna is how other people see you. It's not how you really are and who you are. It's how other people perceive you to be. And it's
Okay.
in Leo. And so
Okay.
everyone was like, I can't
Is that
believe the
like a
Vedic.
rising sign would be in regular?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
So my
Okay.
my regular my rising in Vedic is actually Taurus. and
Okay.
it's in Rohini, but people see me as a Purva Falguni, which is Leo. So
I
it's just
get
it's
it.
a different vibe. So the more I got
Wow.
into Vedic, the more I saw that there were a lot of correlations
A
involved,
lot
which
of
is why I encourage
correlation.
people to study all forms of astrology.
Sure,
So,
sure. Well, I'm excited about this because I have never talked to somebody who does Vedic.
mm,
And I know that it's out there and I know that
mhm.
people do it, but I've just never had anybody on before that does that. So that's really awesome. Thank you for explaining that because it really makes a lot of sense. And the reason I do not do astrology is because I'm a lousy math person. So
Oh.
y-
You may
y-
like Aztec. You might
okay.
like the
Okay.
Aztec. You might look into that. That could be kind of
Okay.
fun. And a
Um,
lot of it's software now, so you don't have to do as
well,
much math.
that's true. I mean, I can do taxes, and taxes is
Oh,
all software. That's why I know I'm a Capricorn rising sign, and I fit the mold because that I like paperwork, and of
uh-huh.
course I teach writing, and I'd have to like paperwork, even though it's really lousy most of the time. But it's really interesting. Wow, I love that. Thank you so much. That's a great, and you can tell you're an academic, or I know you're not doing that anymore, but you can tell the way you speak and the way that you explain that you are used to doing that in academics, and so it's beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. I enjoy it. I love teaching. So,
Communications major. Wow, that's awesome. So hi, Arlene and Jan and Jessica and Suzanne and Rossi and all those of you who have come in a little bit later, and we're all welcome to be here for you. Jessica Lynn says, same for her. She's a Leo rising in both Western and Vedic. So
oh
that's very
wow, that's
fascinating.
Maga Nakshatra. You're a queen, Jessica.
Oh, there you go.
That's the throne,
Wow.
and you have the power to leave the body.
Oh, Jessica, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hi, Maura. Wow, I think that's so when did the cards come in? When did you start doing the cards? And do you do
Okay.
most oh, yeah. Do you only do tarot or do you also do
I
oracle?
do tarot and I do oracle. I started
Okay.
off with the tarot. We were
Uh-huh.
talking a little bit before the show, and I got my first deck of Crystal Voyage in Tacoma.
Uh-huh.
My now husband bought it for me. This was when I was going through my divorce, and my discernment wasn't that great. And he goes, "Have you tried the tarot before?" And I said, "No." And so he's like, "Here you go." And so
Mhm. Wow.
at this time, I was also dealing with the YWCA and the women's shelter and things like that. And so
Mhm.
my first tarot teacher was a single Black woman from the hood. And she was amazing. Her name was Jessica Brown, and she's since expanded onto Udemy. She's a
Okay.
fantastic teacher, and
Uh-huh.
she gave it to me straight. She helped me with my self confidence. She helped me make better decisions. Every
Mhm.
time I got bad cards, she was like, pull the next one, see what the
Right.
clarifier is, so that you can get out of this. Because I'm like, 10 of Swords, 3 of Swords, 7 of Swords. I'm just like,
I know,
why?
you don't wanna tell people how to do
Yeah.
yeah, I get it.
But this
No,
was
I get it.
happening in my life, and so it was just like, and she's like, okay, this is how you deal with it. So she was the
Uh-huh.
perfect teacher for me in that moment.
Oh, that's
And
good.
then I've since taken courses from other teachers,
Mhm.
all over the
Mhm.
world, UK, Europe, etc., just to kind of get like a really good
Overview. Yeah.
overview, like a good
Mhm.
foundation, so that like,
Sure.
'cause some really they do really well with relationship readings, and there are some
Uh-huh.
readers that they can do amazing things with oracle cards and connecting with guides, and there are
Right.
other readers that they can give it to you real straight, but they can do it in a way that is beautifully empathic. So
Right.
I find
Not
myself.
off-putting. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Mhm.
tact with the way that they read. So if I find someone like that, I'll take a class or classes from them and then try to
Mhm.
incorporate that into my own systems and modalities. So,
Mm. All right.
yeah.
So Arlene says she is a Leo with the Vedic in Cancer. So that's like the opposite of you, isn't it?
So if
If you
you are a Leo, if you're a Leo in Western and Vedic and Cancer, that would be Ashleisha. That's difficult because that's a bit of a Gandanta. That is what's the Gandantas occur, they're called spiritual knots, and they occur between water and fire signs. So that tells me
oh,
that you would be in Ashleisha Nakshatra. That would be whatever you're saying, your rising or your moon or your sun or whatever you're
mhm,
referring to. And
mhm.
Ashleisha is interesting. That would be psychic. Okay, so
Oh,
just be
there you
aware of
go,
that.
Arlene. Yeah,
But it
yeah.
brings a lot of stuff, okay? A lot of poisons into your life that will force you to deal with them. So I'll show you the card. This is Ashleisha. It's represented by the Nagas
Oh,
and
okay.
Shiva, and it
Oh,
represents the latent kundalini that is resting in the Muladhara. So if you do a little bit of spiritual practice in this birth and you get out of your own way, you can activate the kundalini. So
there you go.
it's
There you go.
beautiful, and it's
Well,
called the
yeah.
clinging star. So
The clinging stuff. Well,
mhm.
Arlene has mentioned before that, in other chats and things that she had sort of had to get past that Catholic upbringing. But, she lives in yeah, you too. Okay. She lives in Sedona though. So she's in
That's
the
where we have
right.
our Vedic astrology conference every year. It's beautiful. There's so much
Ah,
magic there, Arlene. Of
yes,
course, you were
there
drawn
is.
there, and it's probably
Yeah,
the snakes that brought you there
that's
because they're
it.
super, super psychic. So,
Yeah. Yeah. There you go, Arlene. So you're in the right place and you are unfolding as you well know. So that's
mhm,
wonderful. That's wonderful. Hi,
yeah.
Monique. It's nice to see you. Yeah, so this is it's just fascinating. So then you just eventually added the oracle cards as you went along and
I
use them
did.
for yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I went to places like East West Books, and when I was,
Uh-huh.
I know friends that do readings there,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
I'll just go and visit. And if I find a new oracle deck is out, I'll go in and I'll try out the demo and see how it works.
See how
And
it works. Yeah.
yeah, and I always have
That's
friends whenever I go to East West. I'll run into
oh
somebody. I'm
yeah.
like, "You want me? Okay,
Yeah.
let me give you a reading with this deck, and we'll like try it out." So it's
Oh, that's
yeah.
awesome. I used to go there quite often because
Hmm.
I like it. But then they moved up the stairs or they moved around the corner, so to speak, more above. It used to
Yeah,
be a building
they
on the corner, and
they
now it's like
did.
up. Okay.
And they
Yeah.
moved from there, over COVID because their landlord, he raised the
Oh,
rates through the roof, and so now they're
okay.
in the Blue Lotus Temple in Bothell, the Yogananda temple.
Oh, I
So
didn't
that's
know
where they
that.
moved. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay.
Yeah. It's
Well,
a
that's
beautiful
really
temple.
cool. Because when they were in the bigger building, which I really enjoyed, I was able to go
Mhm.
up and see Barbara Handclough, who lives also in the Pacific Northwest.
Very
And
cool.
she was talking about all the dimensions, a ninth and 10th dimension and all that. We do live in a very metaphysically friendly area here in Washington. And
Mhm.
so, wow. Oh, for heaven's sakes, Katie, you too? Wow.
Ashley's in the house. We got some
Yeah,
psychics.
we
Okay.
got
Yeah, my
some
Mercury is
company.
there. So
Yeah, and she
that's
actually
beautiful.
lives I believe she lives in Oregon, but in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, she does too. Isn't that
Wow.
something? Hi, Pisces greeter. Wow, welcome, welcome. Well, that's really cool. Well, I'm just definitely going to excuse me. I'm definitely going to have you do my chart in Vedic because I've never had that done before, and I'm looking forward to finding out more
Oh,
from you.
wonderful.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
intense.
gonna,
It's
yeah, yeah.
for me when I did my first Western chart for someone, it was, 20 minutes to an hour depending on what they like. But Vedic,
Mhm.
I mean, I make my first sessions minimum hour and a half, but they always go
Oh,
over
sure.
because they're
Because there's so
so in
much more.
depth.
There's so much
Yes.
more. Yeah. The
So,
best reading I ever had was a past life regular astrological reading.
mhm,
And actually it was past life, but it also was this life. And she would talk about what had happened in my past. So
mhm,
it was around 1985, and I was 30 in
mhm,
1985, and that's when I had it done. And she did it, and she told me stuff about my dad when I was 3 years old. He went away from the family, and he went in the
mhm,
hospital. He didn't leave us or anything, but he had to go in the
mhm,
hospital. And the most incredible thing she told me, which I would never have imagined would come true, was that in my 60s or later in my life, she said, that I would be working from home and people would come to me in my home. And this is about what I really think it was
mhm,
because people don't come to my house, but they come to my home, so to speak.
mhm.
And, at the time, I'm like, "How would that happen?" Because
We didn't have
we didn't
Zoom
have
and we
the
didn't have
internet.
StreamYard. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we didn't have all this. And, it made me such a believer in
Mhm.
what astrology does for us, and so that's just wonderful. That's
And I love
wonderful.
that that was your Saturn return because you were 30. So that was
It
Saturn
was
waking
right
you up
in
a
the
little
middle of
bit.
that. Yes,
That's
absolutely. Yeah,
beautiful.
it really was, and it really helped me a lot, and in my, my Saturn return at 59 and a half to whatever, there
Mhm.
I went through a real crisis, and I
Yeah.
knew afterwards that it was because there were things that and it brought me back to it was interesting because I was living in my, um back in the on the East Coast where I grew
Mm.
up because I'm, originally from area of Boston area. So it's just, it's just tells you so much. It's just wonderful. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right. So yeah, we've got some questions up. Hi, just visiting. It's nice to see you. And hello to Scott and Jackie. It's good to see you, Scott Scorpio Sun and
S
Jackie,
so
Jacaranda.
good to see
Yeah,
you, Scott and Jackie. So quick
yeah.
question, is your Ketu, which is your South node, also in Libra?
Hmm. I should remember that. But
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't
Because
I
you
can't
mentioned the health issues with the father and that your son was in Libra, and then you had a
yeah,
past life reading, which would represent Ketu. And
okay.
the thing that she pointed out could be South Node past life planet in Libra conjunct Sun. So I was
Okay.
reverse engineering what she
Yeah.
was doing in
No,
my
no, I get it. Yeah,
so
no, and you've
yeah.
got that knowledge, you can do that. I do have a stellium. I have a lot of Libra. So,
Okay, that'll probably
yeah,
do it.
but, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Mhm.
You got distracted by your mother, Katie? Oh, that's all right. Moms can distract us. Hello, Elena Garcia. It's nice to see you. Yeah, no, she was just saying we got a lot of strong psychic women in the house. So, yeah, there you go. Thanks, Katie. All right. So, it's so fascinating. Just fascinating information that you have. But you do this now full time. Are you doing this full time or no?
Yeah, for now
Okay,
I am,
for now.
yeah. So for now,
Okay.
'cause, we Saturn went direct in my 10th
Yep.
house directly on my moon in November, and so I told
Okay.
my husband years before this was going to happen, "This is when I'm gonna lose my job," and he went, "Okay." And so 3 days after he did it, I lost my job, and he just went,
Okay.
"Dang," and I'm like, "We already knew this was gonna happen, so we have plenty of
Yep.
savings, we're good to
Yep.
go."
Right. Right. That's
So
true. Were you
and
teaching?
so
Were you teaching then or you weren't teaching at that
actually,
time?
I my husband and I, we own a digital marketing agency, and we
Oh,
specialize
okay.
in search engine optimization and cybersecurity and web development and all of that.
Ah,
So yeah,
wow.
when I was let go from my teaching position,
Uh-huh.
I was laid off. I started working for him. So
Uh-huh.
actually, I had a jewelry store, and then I
Oh,
started working for him. So there was a lot going on there.
oh
So
my god,
I'm
you
always
sound like me.
working.
I've tried it all. I've tried every bit of
Yeah.
it. I mean, at that time, I was in the mortgage business. There was
Oh.
no even though I was very, probably from about 1972, I was interested in metaphysics. You couldn't
Mm,
find anything about, you'd find a generic astrology book that would tell you, and that's why it was how people in the 70s sort of got what's your sign? Because that
yeah.
that was the thing to say.
Like the only
When you were
astrology book you'll ever need by Wolf Folk or
that's
something like
right.
that.
That's
Yeah,
right. It's
that's a good
all
one.
very it's like reading the one in the newspaper. You're not gonna get really a lot out of it. But, it
Mm.
just brought me further and further into it, and although my first cards were tarot, I still resist it. I don't care for them as much as I love my oracle
It's what
cards.
connects. Yeah,
It
it's what
does. It does.
connects.
And for me, it's symbolism in the cards and the words because 'cause I'm an English teacher, so I think that's what
Mhm.
it is. Yeah.
There you
But
go.
yeah, you're right. Everybody has to try to do things differently anyway. So, yeah. All right. So I am going to start. I'm going to start here with Suzanne, who says her birthday is the day before the solar eclipse. Will this have any effect for me?
Yeah,
So, yeah. All right.
yeah.
That's,
All right, so I'm just gonna give you an example, Suzanne, of what happened to me, okay? I had an eclipse
mhm.
on my birthday, in 2018, and it really brought on a lot of it was almost like a mini Saturn return the following year.
Oh, yeah.
So it brought a lot of stuff, but what happened was it drove me deep into Vedic astrology. That's when I was getting my, like, basically credentials, college level credentials in this. So,
Uh-huh. Yep.
that it drove me into a new modality that changed my life forever. So it's not the worst. Another
Right.
example. My previous employer, he had an eclipse on his birthday last year, and yeah, everyone's gone. So and he's getting a divorce and everything. So it's just like,
Oh, he had a
yeah,
total undoing.
total
Okay.
undoing.
Okay.
But I'm
Okay.
praying that it like it's
Yeah.
better. But when you're in
Right.
it,
Right.
it's not
Yeah.
easy. But at the end of it, it's like, oh, that needed to happen to make room for
Right.
something new.
Right.
Another example, when we had an eclipse a couple of years ago, it was in Bharani Nakshatra, and I did a whole reading on that. I thought that it was going to bring the end of Roe v. Wade. I did a video on this because it
Uh-huh.
represents the womb and she who bears. Okay, it's
Okay.
literally it's Yama, the god of death, and Gaia. So it's the energy that brings us in and out of this world. And
Mhm.
so what happens is when solar eclipses happen, they reveal secrets. And that's when all of the SCOTUS stuff was leaked regarding Roe v. Wade. And then by the time we had the lunar eclipse, they had overturned it. So
Oh,
that's kind of
okay.
what eclipses do is they create these like they let really bad kind of behind the scenes secrets that the demons are doing out of the bag. And yes, there are
Yeah.
demons, humans, and devas all in different bodies in this time and on Earth. So
Wow. Yeah.
what
Yeah.
eclipses do is they show us what the I could say baby souls are doing behind the scenes, the ones that don't understand karma yet, and it can be a little
Mhm.
shocking and it
Mhm.
can lead to a lot of undoing. So just
Yeah.
be aware of that, but that there's always something you're going to push through at the end of this. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So
But it's
she
not
says,
on
"I've
your
had way
exact
too
day
much."
either. So,
Yeah, you've had way too much. She has. Suzanne's had a lot, but she did just retire as well. But
mm,
you know what? I remember somebody telling my husband that, um, and even the way that the United States is moving, that this
hmm
probably will go on until 2025, 2026, something like that. With the
hmm
COVID, I believe it was when we were talking about that people will still be having issues. And
yeah.
it's like we're all going through this, Suzanne. So I don't think it's more group karma. Even though your birthday is close to it, I'm sure there's some effect there. But it's there's a lot of group karma that we're going through too, isn't there?
hmm
Yeah,
There
yeah,
is for sure. We're all going through this. I mean, with Saturn in Aquarius and the sidereal, and he's in the Pisces Western, regardless of what modality you follow, is light
right.
workers, we're all feeling it.
We are,
Um,
we are.
Now,
Yep.
Susan, do you live in this area? Because I mean, I'm seeing that this has to okay, you don't. Okay.
He
Um,
lives in New England. Yeah.
New England? Okay.
Mhm.
This has to do with your second house of savings and money. The reason I say Seattle is like our taxes just went up this year and I'm not happy
Okay.
about it. So
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah, I'm sure
Mhm.
you got the bill too.
I did too. Yeah,
Oh my
I did.
gosh, it's
Yeah.
intense this year.
Uh-huh.
So they're asking you during that time to really watch your savings account. Like I just mentioned that
Mhm.
I saw that my job was about to go, so we saved a bunch of money and didn't do
Right.
anything crazy. So that's
Right.
what they're asking
Right.
you to do. I got temperance reversed, so you're going to feel a lot out of balance, and it has to do with a big event.
Mm,
Okay. So 'cause I got the
okay.
tower. All right. So
Okay.
it'll be a bit of a tower moment. That's what Uranus
Mhm.
likes to do too. But know that at the end of tower moments that there is sunshine, there's the star. Okay. There's that hope, that renewal. And you might feel a little naked and alone and afraid, but it's always a good thing. It's for our best.
She says her
So
taxes are also rumored to be going up. So, yeah. The cards
hmm.
I pulled for you, Suzanne, are the first one is imagination. And so sometimes if we're prepared for something, uh, our imagination isn't as crazy as if we aren't prepared and it just comes as a surprise to us. Just like Michelle said about knowing that her job was going to be going away at a certain point. But because you also vibrate at a higher vibration than the folks around you, you're going to be able to handle it, I think, a lot better than the people around you are. And I don't mean Wayne, your husband. What I mean is, those who live near you. Because I know she just came out of chemo 3 years ago, so she's been through the mill.
Oh,
She's been through the
sending
mill.
love, honey.
Yeah. But I would suggest having your Akashic records done or taking a class in Akashic Records.
Mm.
I found recently that my husband, who is going through his own health crisis right now, was told that that what he's going through was similar to a past life that he had, where a wall fell on top of him and he suffered before dying. And it didn't mean that it was going to get any, but there was an explanation for the
Mhm.
reasoning behind it. So, yeah, I send you lots of love, Suzanne, and certainly don't like bringing any kind of news that's not pleasant to you. But you got Wayne, and Wayne is the best person to have at your side, honestly.
Yes.
You two
And
are rock.
Suzanne, I've been through a lot of tower movements. I had an eclipse on my exact birthday. It worked out. It was a hard year, but it worked out. So
Yep.
I'm still
Yep.
here and I'm great.
I know.
So
What
you
is it?
got this.
Just keep thinking of Elton John. I'm still standing better
There you
than I ever had. Yeah. Wow.
My husband saw him in concert.
Oh, me too. I saw him up in Seattle when he
Oh,
was here.
fun. You saw him in Chicago. So
Oh,
that's great.
wow. That's awesome. I was in the nosebleed section, so I really didn't get, and everybody was too interested in getting beer and wine. So I didn't enjoy it as much as I would have liked to have, but it was something I always wanted to do, was to see him. So, all right. So Maya says, what site do you recommend for pulling charts from multiple people? Maybe in the
Uh,
Vedic. I don't know.
I've actually worked on trying to get a calculator on my site, but Astro Theme, it's like from the 90s, but it
Oh,
has everything, all the little calculations on the side. So you can change it from tropical to sidereal. You can use the Lahiri system. You can use the
oh,
whole house. Like you can basically change the calculations depending on what you're
wow.
looking for on their site,
Okay.
astrotheme.com. So, and there's
Okay.
a lot of really good celebrity charts there too. They don't always have the
Oh,
birth time, so I have to use my cards to determine birth time for some celebrities, but it's a
yeah.
really great resource. It's
Oh, well,
old,
that's cool.
and you
Yeah.
can't really work
Yeah.
it on your phone, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's oldie
Yeah.
but a goodie.
Oldie but goodie.
So,
And
yeah.
Astrodienst, which is actually just astro.com, that does your regular
Mhm.
astrology. And you can also do like astrocartography on that one. So
Okay.
that
Yeah.
showed me where in Washington would be better for me to live. And
Oh,
or I
wonderful.
live in one place. Now my husband had an office in Oak Harbor, and that was where he should have worked.
Where
Although
did he work
no,
in Oak Harbor?
he worked he opened his own chiropractic practice called Harmony Health there. Yeah.
Harmony
Yeah.
Health Chiropractic?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, oh my god,
Yeah.
I went to a guy in Harmony Health Chiropractic. It was another area, but I was born and raised in Oak Harbor, Washington.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
I
Well, you know
know.
where do you know where
Me
the,
family.
log cabin is in Oak Harbor? It's like a section, a log cabin where there's offices and things.
Oh,
Trying to
okay. Yeah,
yeah.
I used to get my hair done in there.
Yes, he's across
Yes.
the street he was across the street. It used to be a insurance agency, and we opened an office in there. So,
Oh, no
but we're
way. Yeah,
shutting it
that's
we're shutting it now because he's can't work
yeah, I heard
anymore.
about the walking
Yeah.
pneumonia. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
we incorporated him into our mantra practice, so
Oh, well, that's
that's
lovely. Thank you so
yeah.
much. We
So, you
appreciate it.
guys live in Renton, and does he drive to Oak
Live in
Harbor? Does he
Kent.
get
Yeah, we have
Oh,
an
Kent,
RV up
sorry.
there. No, that's okay. We
Oh,
have an
okay,
RV up
sorry.
there in Anacortes that he was staying at, but we're gonna bring it back now. But,
Okay.
yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
small
I know.
world. Because I went to Oak Harbor High School and middle
Oh my
school.
god.
So, yeah,
Wow. Yeah, well,
yeah,
military, that would make sense because
yeah.
he used to see a lot of military there. Wow. That's
Okay.
amazing, Michelle.
Yeah.
Small world is right. Small, small world. Okay, so you would like a read from your guides for the month, Rossi? All right, we can do that. Sure. All right, Suzanne says, I believe that the cancer was something I had to go through and survive to prove to my mom people do survive it. She associates it with
Oh.
certain death. Lost my dad and both of his parents to cancer. That's a beautiful legacy that
Mm.
you changed in your mother's eyes, Suzanne. And God, I was so proud of you for what you went through, really. And then, of course, I think she had something wrong with her knee and she was on a scooter for a while. Suzanne was.
Oh, knee cart. I've done that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
year and a
she had
half
to do
on one
that
of
a
those.
while. I know. Um, we're just sending you lots of love, sweetheart. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
thank
and
you,
Suzanne, my
Carolyn.
husband is cancer. He was almost stage 4, and he's still
Oh,
alive. So, yeah, he was Hodgkin's lymphoma
oh
3C.
my.
But, yeah, the chemo did wonders. So,
Okay.
I mean, it was
Yep.
just
Yep.
Yeah.
And my mother wouldn't even say the word Suzanne. My mother would call it C. She wouldn't even say cancer because
Wow.
when she was alive. So, hi,
Mhm.
Sylvia. It's good to see you, honey. Yeah. There you go. All right. Lisa Keller, I've got your as well. So, Rossi, we'll do you let's see, let's do a reading for you.
Okay.
Oh, Maya, I see that you have another question there, but we'll get to it. I just saw the first one. So, all right.
Okay. Well, I did pull a few cards.
All right. You can go right ahead then if you're ready.
All right. Sounds good. So,
Uh-huh.
I got that they really want you to focus, Rossi, on your second house of savings. That seems to be a theme right
Big
now. And
thing
your
today.
fifth house. Yeah. And then your
Mhm.
fifth house, which represents the stock market and also children. I know that's kind of a bit of a stretch, but it's risks. It's our house of risks. You can see you can see the babies on it, and then you can see the dice. Okay.
Okay.
So these are the two areas that they're pointing your attention to. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so maybe if you have your chart, look at your second house, your fifth house, and what planets are transiting there, and you can see what's going on. Aside from
Uh-huh.
that, I went to my Enchanted Tarot. I got the King of Wings reversed. This is a bit of a block I see in your life. This is a king that is overly concerned with other people's opinions, and political correctness can kind of make his life difficult. If this kind of education and philosophical knowledge are important to this person, but he doesn't really value idle thoughts, daydreams, innovation, like the woo, the intuitive
Yeah.
kind of stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
And because of that, he can be a little assertive and controlling it just out of habit because he's very much mental. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
So when I see this reverse, this is someone who may have like had a divorce from their husband or their wife because they are trying to keep up appearances, or they had a failed business venture or something that happened to them because they're upside down. Um, but they struggle with value or praising other people's judgment. Okay, so if you feel this kind of overly critical, arrogant energy around you, just know that this is not directed at you. This is coming from their experience. And don't neglect your needs and your emotional state of being when you're in and around this energy, because it's not that healthy for you. Okay, especially because you're stepping into some
Mm.
spiritual stuff that I'm seeing. I got the
Mm.
Seven of Shells reversed. This is a big no card. Okay. So if you're asking a yes or a no, this is a no. They're saying that going out with a lot of people right now can cause some issues. Okay. You can encounter a lot of illusions or confusions or distractions. So they're
Mm.
saying avoid intoxication, any forms of escapism. For yourself or others in your environment. And if you're suspecting any deception right now, there's Rahu in Pisces. It's happening to a lot of light workers. It's confirmed. It's in the collective right now. Okay.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
they're asking you to distinguish between creative inspiration and pipe dreams. Okay.
Oh,
Because
okay.
there's you may be misinterpreting some ambiguous intentions. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
postpone any decisions until you're sure of what's best to do. Be very realistic. Do some grounding modalities. That could be doing your Surya Namaskars, or some yoga poses in the morning. It could just be having some tea and doing some breathing exercises, whatever helps you feel connected to Gaia, to Earth. Go ahead and
Mhm.
do that, because avoid living in a fantasy world, because it's only going to get in your way
Yep.
regarding that kind of energy that I see. Okay. I hope
Wow.
that was helpful. I'm sending you lots of love,
Yeah.
sweetie.
It's funny because ever since I've bought myself a grounding mat to sleep on,
Mhm.
a lot of big good things have happened. I mean, I'm better sleeping, better this, better that. So, I mean,
Good.
I recommend it. It's not that expensive if you find it. You can find a cheaper one on Amazon, but it's really amazing because I'm out here all the time.
Well, you got a
So
Pisces moon. That'll do it, right?
that will
Yeah.
do it.
And
That's right.
Rahu's on your moon, so you are more prone to it than others right now. So that's wonderful.
Okay.
You've already found your remedy. That's great.
I did.
Yeah.
So I have a beautiful portal here for you, Rossi, and this could be just staying. It looks like a keyhole, but look at the DNA. It's almost like DNA that's all on the sides here.
Mhm.
It looks like a double helix. So it's saying, for instance, that this is working for you, and I'm getting that you're going to get the keys to creation. And so there you go with that, the keys to creation of what your dreams are, or what you would like to do next as the next step. And finally, I get nurture yourself. There's the self-love coming in. And that's exactly what Michelle said in some of her words that she showed in the reading she did as well. So thank you, Rossi. Yeah. All right. This is fabulous. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. So Maya is the one that asked about where to find multiple readings, but she says she would love to know about, she has a Virgo moon and sun and a Cancer rising.
Okay, so if this is the sidereal calculation, this means that the south node or Ketu, the eclipses are happening on your moon this year. So watch mom's health, watch real estate, and watch your car, because that's all fourth house kind of stuff. That's all related to the moon. I don't know what house your moon is in. Actually, I do. You're a Cancer rising, so that would be third house. Okay, so your self efforts may be blocked over the next bit. And let's see. Oh, and you're a Virgo moon and sun. Okay, you're a new moon. So you're definitely going to be affected more so by the eclipses than others. Okay, if this is the Vedic. And let's see. So I could see some blocks coming, or just some issues regarding your self-efforts. Cancer rising means that Saturn would be in your, if Vedically he's in Aquarius, so that would be your 8th house. That's called Ashtama Shani. So he can bring, it's like a mini Saturn return. So you can see some upheavals in those areas. And trying to think of what else is going on. Definitely pay attention to the eclipses coming up. We have one on March 25th, and that is going to affect your moon and your sun if they're in Virgo. And then we have another one April 8th, and that is, that's another one to really watch for as well. So just be aware of those coming dates. Don't do anything or go into any big events or plan anything huge on those dates. Just kind of lay low, protect your energy. That's the main energy that I can just give you based off of your moon, sun, and rising. So, but yeah, it's going to be a transformative year for you with Saturn being in the 8th.
Wow.
So just be aware of that. And the eclipse is taking place directly on your moon and sun. They're going to affect you more than others. Okay.
That must be the energetic pull that I'm getting here for you. It's a little tree spirit, but it says a true master knows that you create through your actions. Do not hesitate when you feel the energy pulling you. Follow it fearlessly and you will move worlds. So, if that's the case, to lay low around the eclipse season, perhaps after it goes by, because doesn't it eclipse things out of our life? Isn't that true? After that happens, maybe you'll get the energetic pull to something new or something that you're wanting to do, but you had to wait for the eclipse to go around first. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Eclipses are the north and the south nodes. The south node rules our past lives, and the north node rules what we came here to do, what keeps us coming here.
What keeps us coming.
Yeah, Rahu's kind of like our super ego. It's a very psychological planet, whereas Ketu is all about moksha, wanting to leave and detach from this plane and move up.
Yes. Okay.
So they're kind of at odds with each other, and they're opposite during the eclipse. So it's depending on whether it's a full moon or a solar. Solar would be they'd be together, and a full moon they'd be 180 degrees apart. But they definitely pull us into energies.
Yeah.
So
Sounds
they're called the tormentor of the sun and the moon. That's why, because they block its energy, its light, its vitality. That's why a lot of people, if someone were to come to me with like a family member that was very, very ill, and they were wondering if they were going to make it, and I saw an eclipse coming around the corner, that would give me a good date.
That would give you a good indication. So with the August eclipse that we had in 2017, I was on a ship in the middle of the Caribbean at the time. And it was really it was cool because it was my daughter's 40th birthday that year, although she was she's a Sagittarius. But it was amazing being out there. And yet after it was all over and we got back into Miami, that's when they had a horrendous hurricane come through. And just about destroy Puerto Rico, where we had been during the eclipse. It was around.
Oh, that was the paper towel hurricane. Yeah. Holy cow. That brought me back.
Yeah. I know. Absolutely. He wasn't, of course, yeah, here you go, here you go. Yep, the paper, I love that, the paper towel hurricane. Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely,
that's how I
abs
remember it because it was so
no, I would
jarring.
too, yeah, yeah. No, it's fine, yeah. So this is Lisa, and her birthday's August 13th, 69. She's a Leo. She doesn't know what her rising sign is, but she was born at 3:41 a.m., so that can tell you that, that, I guess, but, so she does, Michelle does a lot of Vedic, although she knows how to do both, I think. I don't know if she can tell you more as far as your Vedic or your.
Uh, well, given that you are August 13th, you are in what's called a Gandanta. You're in between the fire
Oh,
and water.
okay.
So I brought this up a little earlier. I'll pull out the card again. Another Ashleisha in the
Yes.
house, kids. I have my
Mhm.
Mercury here. And if you're in between, you're in the Gandanta, what that tells me is that your sun goes into Pisces in your Navamsha chart. The Navamsha chart is your Dharma. That's why you're
Mhm.
you're you're being encouraged to get into psychic stuff. Okay, because that's going to help your soul expand. That's why I keep saying
Okay.
super psychic. That's the
Yeah.
Ashleisha energy.
Yeah.
It's ruled by the Nagas. The Nagas are the keepers of esoteric and divine metaphysical knowledge. Okay.
Mhm.
There's
Mhm.
Vishnu, who is the presiding deity. And if you look at his Mutlahara, there's a coiled snake. What this
Yeah.
tells you is because you are of this lineage, if any kind of work that you do can raise your kundali. The
Okay.
kundali is basically a ball of energy that exists in the Muladhara, and when activated, it shoots through the crown chakra and connects you
Mhm.
to guides, spirit, etc.
Yep.
Ashleshas are from what are called the netherworlds. Brahma sent them there to guard the secret knowledge of the divine and metaphysical things. And so,
Yeah.
even though they're considered demonic beings, they are in fact keepers of divine knowledge, and they keep it safe, so to speak. Okay, so if you have any planets here, this could give you that psychic connection, those psychic gifts. And
Yeah.
especially if you're literally on the Gandanta, this tells me that you're going through a lot of transformation in this area as far as your ego, and it's being
Mm.
transmuted to spirit because it's
Mm.
going into Pisces. So you're getting rid
Mhm.
of you're letting God, you're getting out of your own way and you're letting God in. So, and what happens when that occurs is he creates these shakeups in our life so that we are forced to change.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of the Ashleisha energy, but it's the power that they have. We all have a Shakti. Their
Right.
Shakti is the power to inflict poisonous venom. So a really good yes, that's why they're demonic energy. Okay,
Uh-huh.
I have my Mercury here, so it rules my mouth. So here's an example of how I keep it under
Okay.
control. I do mantra practice. I
Mhm.
do a lot of spiritual modalities that involve speech so that I can move into that more Piscean realm of being and
Okay.
thinking and speaking.
Mhm.
I've seen people with really strong Ashleisha energy in their chart, and they go into work administering chemotherapy. They're inflicting poisons in a very positive way because poisons have
Yeah.
the power to inflict
Sure.
pain and misery, but
Uh-huh.
also to heal.
To heal. Right.
So you
Yeah.
can be a healer or you can be someone who causes harm. That's the beauty of this nakshatra. Um,
Wow.
so yeah, but it's regeneration, it's killing, it's healing, it's secrets, it's a show of strength, it's secrets, it's a bunch of stuff, but it's the deep dark stuff that most people are afraid to get into. And either if you have a strong Ashleisha in your chart, you're being aspected right now by Shani because he's in your eighth house, and he can
Uh-huh.
be causing like mini upsets as well. So if this is where your
Okay.
ascendant or your moon is, so
And look, we have another one, Carolyn Booker, who is also August
August
13th, I believe.
13th,
Yeah,
yeah.
and,
You're right on that Gandanta.
she sees ghosts and so on,
Oh, yeah,
Carolyn.
you can definitely
Yeah,
see that. Shiva
yeah.
is not afraid to go into because right, believe it or not, the netherworlds are below here, and they're
Mhm.
nicer than heaven because they're
Oh,
heaven for the materially inclined. So everything you were attached
okay.
to here, you get to have in heaven until you have to come back and pay it back in a human birth. This is just Vedantic philosophy.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
But right above this realm is where all the ghosts and the goblins and the demons that are getting tortured, which is what the Christians describe hell as. It's
Right,
actually
right.
it's a level up. So you're
Okay.
able to get a lot of karma done at those levels, and Shiva has no problem in those worlds, and neither does Parvati or Kali, which is his consort, his this
Uh-huh.
female half.
Right.
And
Yep.
so Ashleshas aren't as afraid of the dark if they're in balance as other signs because they
Uh-huh.
have, especially as children, they've always been like in that
Yeah.
world. if that
And
makes sense.
she was in that world as a child. Her and actually had a great grandmother live in Salem, Mass.
Well, there you
During
go.
the
That
witch
might be the
trial.
connection.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Wow, it's amazing. So we've had like 4 people in this chat
Ashlicia's.
today. Yeah,
Yeah. And
wonderful.
I have my Mercury there, and he's also right in that Gandanta point. So he goes into Pisces Ravati in the Navamsha chart. So a lot of you have that too. That's really cool. You
Wow,
came here to do a lot of spiritual work.
absolutely. So well, I'll just go ahead and put you up, Carolyn, that we can do a reading for the month for you. But wow, 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 that's amazing. Let's see, what do I want to use for cards? I don't even know. Um,
Well, I did pull cards for the next person. And of course, I got High Priestess.
okay.
So definitely rely on your intuition for the next month because
Yep.
you're in touch. You know, your hunch
Yeah.
is right.
Yep.
You can connect to those higher powers, to the spirit realms. Focus on things that really inspire you, things that give you those goosebumps, not those like usual mundane things, the things that kind of stand your hair on end. You know, and Ashleisha, you know what I'm
Hmm.
talking about. Um, so these things can be as simple as a child's laughter. It could be a favorite pet's antics. It's, you know, little signs and things that we get from spirits. Like
Uh-huh.
for instance, the
Uh-huh.
other day, we our battery died in the Costco parking lot, and I look over to the car parked next to us, and it said car 3524, and it was March 5th, 2024. And I looked at my husband and said, "We're going to be fine. We're right on track." So, looking for those little goosebump moments, right?
Oh my
So,
goodness. Yes,
because what
yes,
those
yes.
do is they inspire you and they bring out your best qualities. Okay.
Mhm.
These are the
Mhm.
areas they have you focusing on. Sixth house of service. This is also self employment. Okay. It's how you serve others. It's how you donate. It's the, you know, it's how you,
Yeah.
it's also how you go about your daily routine, what you eat. When you wake up, when you go to bed. So they have you focusing on that area. This is also the area
Mhm.
that does acute health. So, you know, making sure you're taking your vitamins so you don't get colds, things like that. So they have you focused on that. And they also have you focused on the ninth house. So I'm not sure if you're thinking about taking a trip or expanding your practice, but it's fully supported by spirit right now. So yeah, I'm
That's
excited for you,
awesome.
Carolyn.
Yeah. She comes on a lot of shows now. She's on my Dream and Visions and Appearances show, but she's also been around in other people's shows lately, she and her husband. So that's really awesome. All right.
Oh, great.
Thanks, Carolyn. Wow. All right. Um, so we have Connie Epley. She says, I would told, oh, wait a minute. I haven't read Carolyn. I'm sorry. I have a grand adventure. Take a risk. That might be the travel that she's talking about. Walk in beauty. You do already because it's a wondrous universe and you embrace it. And also, it says if you're feeling like you're going to be fogged in any way, you may have a day that's kind of iffy out there. Go slow, take your time, and make sure that you, are able to see what's ahead for yourself as you move along. All right. So that was for you, Carolyn. All right. So Connie Epley, you ready to move? I just had the new moon in Pisces. Her birth date is 10/24, so she would be a Scorpio, right? Scorpio. Um, can't hear you, honey.
Sorry about that. 1024 would be Libra and Sidereal.
Oh, in sidereal.
And
Okay.
so, yes,
Okay.
but it would be Scorpio and Western. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so let's see. Moving. Let's see what moving has.
Before you even asked the question, I got the fourth house of real estate and Jupiter. So it's going to go really well. So
All right.
that's good. That's the good news,
There
Connie.
you
I
go.
was wondering,
You
like,
don't need
who's
much
buying a
more.
house?
Yeah. Yeah. And I get the card, grace and gratitude. It says through gratitude, joy expands. So you'll be very happy about it. I think it'll be a very
Yeah.
good experience for you. Wow. 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 That's
Okay.
awesome.
I do see a block. Okay. So I'll
Okay.
address that.
All right.
Are you still reading?
Nope. You go
Okay.
ahead.
So
Yep.
again, I got Jupiter fourth house. The fourth house is
Yep.
real estate. It's mother. Jupiter's the Santa Claus of the zodiac. It's always good when he goes over our fourth house. It's like Christmas. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the block that I see though. Okay. Things will go well because Yeah, I just said someone's going to buy a house or sell a house or do something with real estate and it's going to go really well. Who is that? So that was my first hunch. I got the Prince of Wings reversed. This is an energy in your environment that could be a block in what you're trying to do. Okay. This card symbolizes someone who has very strongly held beliefs. They're very mental. Okay. But sometimes he can struggle or fight a little too much. And he can cut himself with his own sword. Let's just put it that
Mm,
way. Okay.
mhm,
So
mhm.
the trouble is they may not be worth the degree of trouble caused by fighting. So if you're kind of find yourself getting dragged into a quarrel with this person, you're not going to win because they like fighting.
Oh,
Okay. They enjoy
yeah.
it. All
Mhm,
right. This person,
mhm.
they like testing people. I can kind of see a cat and mouse game going on. You may fight over incompetence or work frustrations or just dysfunctional behavior. And it's because this particular person is struggling with their own dysfunction. It has nothing to do with you. So just watch
Okay.
out for those destructive tendencies and stay away from the eccentric, aggressive types. Okay. Uh,
Mhm,
they
mhm,
said that you can listen to I got the Intuit card for your way of dealing with this particular energy.
mhm.
I listen to my hunches and my feelings. Sit quietly with a trusted friend and let them ask you questions, both theirs and yours. Without censoring your words, give voice to the proverbial feeling tones that come in response. Your voice is that intuition. So your
Mm.
intuition's correct, but you have to come from a calm place and maybe sitting down with a friend can help you calm the mind and get the right thoughts to go through. And know that you are a soul. I love the dragonfly here. I've got them all over my apartment.
Oh, yeah.
I am a universe observing all other universes. I breathe in the realization that I am not my name or what I do for a living. I am filled with the knowledge that I am a soul traveling onward. I breathe out the illusion of being separate from all there is. So this tells me that you're about to level up spiritually and just be ready for that because
Ooh,
that's that beautiful
yeah,
transformative butterfly.
yeah.
Every time I pull this card, I think of the fan that Kaylee made me, and it has the button that has the dragonflies on it. And
Oh, how
so, and there's a
beautiful.
little, yeah, little dragonfly
Yeah.
card. So you got some
Okay.
transformation coming. It's going to go well. Just take a deep breath and know that the house situation is going to work out well. But stay away from that energy. It's not yet. It's
That
not serving
energy
you.
of the arguments. Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, so we are almost at an hour. Is it, can you stay a little longer, or do you need to go at a certain time, or
I booked out the day for you,
you
so
did?
I'm good.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right, good. So I'll finish what we have here, but I'm not taking any more postings. Now, Lalima is in India, interestingly. So,
Hmm.
but she says she's moon rising Taurus, sun descendant Scorpio with a North Capri, South Cancer.
Capricorn.
Oh, Capricorn, North
Okay.
Capricorn, South Cancer.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. That's your
the
Ketu
North
Rahu.
node. Okay, okay. So she's a Rahu? Yeah?
Rahu is the north node, and then the
The
south
North
node is
node.
Ketu.
Okay,
Yep, you got it. And they're
fine.
180 degrees from each other. So that would
Yeah,
explain the yeah, the Cancer and the excuse me, the Capricorn. Okay,
okay.
so I'm also a Libra rising. Congratulations, you're pretty. So Taurus risings and Libra risings, we get blessed by Venus, so it's a good thing. Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Um,
Yeah.
you got your sun and descendant are in Scorpio, so that tells me that your sun is undergoing a lot of transformation. Especially with Scorpio, it's ruled by Aries, so you have to be sorry, by Mars, so you have to be careful to not be too impulsive there when it comes to making those decisions. When you've got the let's see, North Node and Capricorn, that gives you a more Saturnian drive for your work. The South Node in Cancer means that you might have been more of a mom, a caretaker, and someone who really nurtured others in a past life. And what Ketu is asking you to do is to step away from that and focus more on your career and how you shine in the world. You're becoming more practical in this birth, okay? More Saturnian. All right.
Mhm,
Now,
mhm,
that said, the reason why you're having a lot of issues with work right now is that Saturn is aspecting he's in your 10th house. He's also aspecting your fourth house, which is home and real estate, as well as your seventh house of relationships. And so he's hitting all of those areas up until 2025 because he's going to be in Aquarius until then. And so you can expect some challenges in these areas. And just know that they are for your higher good.
mhm.
Let's see. You would have hit the height of the eclipses and things like this in 2018, so you don't have to really worry about them hitting you this year as much.
Mhm.
Uh, Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. I would recommend doing things for Shani because he is hitting your Kendras, which is that 10th house, that fourth house
Uh-huh.
energy. And I
Okay.
can give you a mantra, and if you're comfortable, it's Om Pram Prim Pram Sa Shanishwaraya Namaha. If you find that that's a little too difficult, you can go Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And then I also pray to Kali and Hanuman, and there's a number of different mantras you can do to help with Shani energy. But those are a couple of simple ones that you can do on Saturdays. You can do
Wonderful.
108 via Amala if you're feeling a lot of stress in those areas.
That's
So
wonderful. I think
yeah,
Lalima probably knows the language you speak, so that's great. Thank you, Lalima. All right. So Mary says, my North Node is Leo, my South is Aquarius. Isn't that at odds with each other? But that's what you just
they're
explained.
always at
They're
odds.
always at odds.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
unless they're in the Vargas, they can join up in the Vargas, which are the divisional charts in Vedic astrology. But in the Rashi, they are always, which is the main birth chart, they're 180 degrees apart.
So
So,
what would would you know by this configuration what she's here to bring in and learn in this
well,
lifetime?
she's learning to become a leader because the North Node in Leo is all about leadership. It's
Oh,
ruled by the
leadership.
king. So you're learning about self-esteem, you're learning how to step into your power and what that looks like. You might have been tested a lot through power dynamics in this birth.
Okay.
With the
Okay.
South Node in Aquarius, that tells me that you've done a lot of past life work in the collective. You've put a lot of your energy into service of not just, I mean, outside of the family. I'm talking about people that live outside of you. When I say collective, I mean like social work, teaching,
Mm.
things
Mhm.
like that. And what you're being asked to do now is focus more on your leadership capabilities and what you do there. Also, my North Node is in, I'm trying to think. No, yeah, my moon is in, Aquarius and my sun is in Leo. And, what I found was those are opposing signs, and I have completely
Yeah.
opposite parents. And so you kinda have this life of,
Okay.
like, opposites, that you're
Uh-huh.
dealing with too. We all do.
Right.
But when the North Node and the South Node are there, it's like the opposing energy that you are supposed to be walking away from, that you're supposed to be detaching from, is
Mhm.
service to the collective, and you're stepping into your leadership, like your
Right.
ability to shine and be in charge.
That's
Okay.
cool. Good.
Yeah.
Mary, that's exciting. So
And it's your
embrace it,
South
my
Node is in ninth house, which tells me that your work probably involved a lot of travel. Like if I were to reverse engineer your chart, you might have been like a traveling nurse or physician, something like that, where you were traveling everywhere all over the world, like a Chiron,
uh-huh. Yeah.
healing people, something like that. And then the third house North Node is your self efforts and how you shine in the world. So you're being asked to kind of not look outside of yourself to find, how do I say this? Your self esteem. You're just asked to shine and be appreciated in this birth.
There you go, Mary. And I appreciate you every day. So there you go. That's wonderful. Wow, how insightful you are. All right. So we have Hypnicity, who has a Cancer sun, a Cancer moon, and a Cancer Mercury.
Mhm.
Wow. And a Venus Virgo rising.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if that's Western or Vedic.
Probably
Um,
Western. I'm
Western.
guessing.
Okay. So
I'm
Cancer,
guessing.
Sun, and Moon, and
Yeah.
Mercury, you were born during a new moon. This tells me that you literally wear your heart on your sleeve. You tend to be very emotional. Your sun and your moon are linked, so that your inner self and your outer self are they're in jive. They jive with each other, but it can also make you be more emotional than others.
Mm.
Cancer is the sign of the mother. I'm not sure what degree you're in. You could be Pushya. You might have another. Your moon or Mercury might be in Ashleisha. It's kind of determined, which one you're in.
Mhm.
But a Venus Virgo rising, if you have Venus on your rising sign, that is very good. That creates a lot of really auspicious yogas in your chart that involve the material. So that's good. I'm
Oh,
not sure what, but Venus in Virgo is debilitated, so be aware of that. So you have to be aware of perfectionism in your in your life as well. I'm not sure what house that's in because I don't have, oh, it is, it's your first house. So avoiding perfectionism when it comes to the way that you view yourself in the world.
Mm,
And
beautiful. Wow.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Venus there can create a lot of auspicious yogas and stuff there too. But being
Cool.
debilitated, it can be a little more rough.
You
So,
just found out you're a healer and a light worker. My Venus is in Cancer, she says. Okay.
oh, because you said
Yeah.
Venus, Virgo, right? Oh, okay, Mercury and Venus. Okay, wow. So you have a stellium in Cancer. That would
Oh,
be
yeah. She does.
so
Yeah.
that would tell me Pushya is the nourisher, and Ashleisha is the psychic and that works with poisons and healing things. So that's
Okay.
probably what I would do reverse engineer wise. If I open up my software while StreamYard is going on, I get kicked out. So that's the reason I'm just
No,
basically
it's
just
okay.
talking.
No, and these are just
Okay.
minis anyway. No, it's fine.
Yeah, it takes up a
You're
lot of
such a
bandwidth.
wealth of information. It's beautiful. And Arlene said she just followed you on Facebook, and she also
Oh, thank
has a
you.
channel here on YouTube. So please be sure to follow her. Hi, Sherry. Okay, thank you. Those of you coming in late, we are on our second hour, and I'm not taking any more right now. I'm sorry. We're just finishing up who has asked for readings beforehand. So I apologize to you. We appreciate you being here. You never have kids in your life? No, but you have dogs. And to me, dogs are kids. So, all right. So this is Katie, and she's the one that is in here in Oregon.
Mm.
And she was July 25th, 1991. She said, I joke that I was ready for lunch. Okay. um, I
You're the same
think,
sun sign as me. I'm the 27th. So you're Pushya, you're a nourisher.
mm,
That's beautiful. I'll
yeah.
show you what your card looks like, Katie.
Okay.
So Pushya, they are all about taking care of others. They're like the moms of the zodiac. Okay, they have the power to nourish, and it's
Hmm.
literally a photo of a cow just
Hmm.
dispensing milk, and the milk represents nourishment and life and all the things that we get from mom. It's ruled by
Oh,
Brihaspati, which is the guru. Okay,
uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and it's there. You are very honest, benign, calm, self-reliant. You can be wise, rigid, proud, prosperous, and it's the power to create spiritual energy. So it's a beautiful sun to be born under. And
Yeah.
yeah, you said ready for lunch. Well, you're the one serving it. So there you go.
Oh, I love cows. They are
Me
like my
too.
favorite animal. And in 19 just about the time you were born, Katie, I gave up eating them. And so I
Oh,
just find that
me too.
most fascinating. I can't do that. I just can't. I just love them too much. So, yeah.
I wonder. You said you had a Pisces moon. It could be in Uttara Bhadra, which is the cow. So that could be a connection you may have. I'm
Yeah,
not sure
and of
though.
course, growing up, I only ate it because my family ate it. I didn't think about the connections
Hmm.
and stuff, but when I
Yeah.
really did was I stayed in a hotel in Texas that was next to a slaughterhouse, and I had no idea, and I lost it. I
Yeah.
with my Pisces moon, I was so upset about it. Yeah, so could never do it again. Anyway, you're
I hear
welcome,
you.
Katie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for Jonathan, it was when he worked at the Tyson meat factory. He cleaned there. And
Oh,
for me, yeah, I
yeah,
went to a feed lot in the Midwest. It was like, that's it. I can never eat meat again. Like
yeah.
it will scar you for life, you guys. It's
Yeah,
so
it really does.
horrifying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. I've had people who took an ethics class with me when I taught ethics,
Hmm.
and they did their papers on different things, and a couple of them would do it on factory farming,
Hmm.
and they didn't want to eat it after those videos as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's very.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we have a July 5th, 1958, born 12 noon, Cancer. Okay, let's see what we can find out for you, Linda. Um, and I know, aren't they soft, Mary? I agree with you. She loves how soft cow noses are. That's true. Mm.
Okay. So if it's a yes or a no, Linda, I got a no. Okay. So
Okay. Whatever her question.
whatever it is, whatever's on your mind, top of mind,
Mhm.
it's a no. Oh, it's a
Uh-huh.
double no.
A double no. Okay.
Okay. All right. So I got that you're undergoing a lot of transformation. I got Scorpio energy. Okay. I said, what is
Mm,
this going to look like? I got Uranus. He's the lightning planet. He
mhm,
causes just he's kind of like my tower card. He causes upsets in our life that change our daily routine, how we think, how we believe about the world. He kind of creates those hanged man moments where we have to change our perspective. Okay. And then I
mhm,
got the South Node. It's just related to a past life that you're dealing with, this shakeup. Okay. It's a lot of transformation, a lot of shakeups, a lot of like woo energy. Okay. But again, you're paying something off. Whenever I see this in someone's chart, like I just went through it, I said,
mhm,
you're basically paying off a huge karmic debt. And the reason you're doing that is because you're clearing it. You're clearing the books. Okay. And it's because you learned the lesson. You're not going to have to do it again. So that's the beautiful thing. Okay.
yeah,
The reason I say that is I got the 10 of shells reversed. This is the same as the 10 of cups reversed. So
mhm,
you're very close to being who you need to be to bring all of these wonderful things into your life, your relationships, career, all of those things. But pessimism can stop you from making your success real. Okay. So someone you care about may not be feeling successful or respected. A reward or a goal that was expected may be diminished or delayed. Interference from friends or relatives can complicate things because this is kind of a family card. Okay. So
mhm,
stop worrying about trying to fix everything, is what they're saying, because it's just going to add to more frustration and dysfunctional behaviors from some family interactions that I'm seeing. It's a waste of your time and your energy. Okay. So
mhm,
if you see some manipulative or unstable energy in your area, it's going to affect your reputation. And don't
mm,
entertain that type of energy. Okay. And
mhm,
again, you're paying this off, so you've learned it. I did go to my affirmation deck to ask, what you can do to handle this. And I got, I am grounded. This is good for all of us because of the Rahu and Pisces energy. A lot of us light workers are feeling this. It's
mhm,
when life overwhelms us, it's time to get outside and touch the earth to ground ourselves, reestablishing our essential unity with nature. I breathe in the comfort of Mother Earth. I am filled with a connection to the Earth's center. I breathe out anxiety. So
mhm,
we all have shakeups. They're here to
yep,
steer us in another direction. Okay. They're just basically going to help you get out of your own way. And something that you have been planning for or hoping for it's not going to happen because I got that South Node. And the reason it's not going to happen is because there's something in your past life that you're paying off.
mm,
Okay. But just stay
mm,
grounded through it and you're going to be okay. Okay. Just went through this. I'm still here. So,
mhm. Mhm. Well, it's interesting because he just made me remember something else from that 1985 astrological thing, and it
mm,
was what happened to you in last year at the time, because it was 1984,
mhm.
and something that was devastating to you, and I want you to know that you paid off a huge karmic debt with it, and
There
it
you
was
go.
I was pregnant with my son, and my ex-husband cheated on me, and it was all a tower. The whole thing was a big
Oh,
tower, and so it made me happy that I cleared the debt. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it was like, okay, there was a reason I had to go through that. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, whatever it is, I get for you that, you have a sense of wonder and you're waiting, knocking at the door to go into a new time, a new framework. But first you have to go into doing some shadow work. And that might be exactly what's going on
Mm,
for you at this point, and that might be the karmic debt. And shadow work, of course, is where you look at the not so savory things in your life, and we all have them. Every single one of us has to deal with our shadow, and we work it out. And it's a thing that we do. It doesn't one and done. Just so you know, but this may be a one and done for some kind of a huge shadow work from a past life. And finally, it says, believe in the magic because the magic is there to help you and move through this, and you will move through this. So there you go. All right. Thank you so much. We have one more, and actually, it's Lisa, who we talked about before. She wondered if she could also have a reading. So, of course, you can. And we will do that for you. And then we'll be done for today. But I would love to have you come back anytime, Michelle. This has been fabulous. This is
Oh,
really
yeah,
fun.
I didn't realize we had so much in common, like, we've
I
all lived in the
know.
same places. Like, when
It's
you said Oak
amazing.
Harbor, I went, "That is not a big town." Like
No, it's not. No, and we'd only been up there since 2020,
Oh, okay.
2021. Yeah, yeah. So it was, yeah. It wasn't. We'd been there before, but not, not living there. So, yeah.
Okay,
All
Miss
right.
Lisa. So it's not a specific question. So I went to my karma cards, and your guides want you to focus on Virgo second house energy. Virgo, they're the bureaucrats of the zodiac. They are the bean counters. They're the ones who are keeping the wolves out of the pen, so to speak. Okay. So setting appropriate boundaries when it comes to your savings account, when it comes to your material assets, and guarding them closely. Okay. So if you don't have an Excel spreadsheet ready for those taxes this year, I would maybe start that habit, and just paying attention to what's going on with the in and outs of your monetary situation, and just taking a better hold of that. Okay, that's what they have you focused on. What they're
Awesome.
asking you to do is spend some time in reevaluation of this area, because I got the Four of Shells reversed. So they're saying that either too much or too little reevaluation could be detrimental in in your current circumstance. Okay.
Mhm.
They're saying guessing and going back and forth and not making a solid decision is going to go against you right now. They're saying don't cry over spilled milk. Don't say I told you so. Just move on. Okay. Don't.
Uh-huh.
They're saying basically don't complain about what this issue is. Just take on a very bureaucratic, earth based. Let's put some boundaries and take care of this in a very practical way. Okay. So
Mhm.
if you're ignoring that second house energy, it's going to bite you in the bum. Okay, so really pay attention to that. It must be acknowledged and acted upon. So I went to the Art of Affirmations, and I got a spirit card for you. It popped right out, and this is Goddess of the New. So this might be a new modality that you're bringing into your life, a new material
Okay.
modality. I have
Yeah.
faith in a future that I can't see. Use this gift when you are worried or anxious. These feelings are usually caused by our attachment either to a particular outcome or wanting to know exactly how things are going to turn out. Though oracles can predict events with enough clarity to be helpful, we have the power to change our future. How many of your past worries never came to pass?
Mm.
So, if you're worried about this energy, taking on that mind of a bureaucrat, that Virgo energy is really going to help. Whenever I'm worried about like money, like I've lost my job, for example,
Mhm.
I have a spiritual practice and I have a material practice, and that helps me with both. Like I've got my Excel
Absolutely.
spreadsheet, I've got my
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
got all of my things set up for that. I've got my budget. We stick to it, things like that. But on the spiritual side, I know that this is not my dream. I'm an actor in it. And I
Yeah.
know that I may have done some things in the past that I'm going to have to pay back, and I have to save up for that.
Sure.
Okay. So
Sure.
just keeping that in mind
I
and
love
protecting
that,
you.
and I also love the idea. I remember hearing the saying that said, "Don't worry because sometimes you're just paying a debt for something you don't even owe." And that really has helped me because my mother was a
Yeah.
worrywart. It did nothing for her. So, I think about it that way.
Well,
So what
yeah,
I
it's
have
a,
is
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
I was
Go
going to
ahead.
say it's,
No,
yeah, sometimes we can pay it forward too. So, I
we
mean,
can. Yeah.
and that, sometimes it's a lesson in discernment. Like, oh, I call it defense against the dark arts training. Even if it's something you didn't do in a past life, you didn't see that
Yep.
person or that circumstance coming, and you just have a new tool.
You do have a
So,
new tool.
yeah.
Absolutely. And you're using your intuition in a really smart way, not
Mhm.
to lament and bring more to you, but to let it go and know that whatever happens is divinely inspired. So I have that you are everything is possible for you, Lisa. All is possible. You can choose your own path where you want to go. And that word focus came up in my cards, and that's exactly what Michelle has said today. It says, hold the course, stay focused on what it is. And this last one was surrender to the journey because there is no control. We only need to surrender and know that what is meant for us will come, and be grateful for the small things. That's always a smart idea. So, yeah. So, hello, Ness. I'm glad you're here, but we are all done for the day. Michelle, I had a fabulous time. Thank you so very much. It was wonderful. Thank you.
I did
And
too.
thanks to
Thank you.
everybody that came. Much love to you all, and have a wonderful blessings for the rest of the day and the weekend. Bye bye. Bye bye.